Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of the Daily Bone podcast, where we discuss all things crypto markets. That includes majors like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, meme coins, and of course, NFTs. Today, we're going to discuss the imminent launch of additional crypto ETFs. We're going to talk about pump funds, reported layoffs, hot off the press from our number one investigative journalist, Nick O'Neill. And we're going to talk about which altcoins we are targeting in Q4. If you're listening on Spaces, give us a like, give us a follow, give us a bookmark, give us a comment. Let us know what you want to talk about today. If you're feeling extra generous, give us a retweet, push us out there in the algorithm. If you're on YouTube, give us some comments. What should we be looking at? What altcoins do you want to see the masters of TA, Greeny and Kicks, chart today? And speaking of Greeny, we've got a special guest for those of you who don't see his beautiful face here on the YouTube. Greeny's back. He's better than ever. Greeny, thanks again for joining us. The master of TA, the founder of Greeny's Trade Groups, the alpha of alpha. Greeny, how you feeling today?
I'm good. Thanks, Ray. It's great to be back. Look, I've been on holiday mode for about 2 weeks now, so you've got me right in the middle of my European holiday. It's nice to step back. Market's kind of chilling, so it's good times. It's good times.
I like that. We're gonna ping off that holiday brain, get a different perspective on what's going on right now. So I'm pretty excited for that. Also have Kicks here. Kicks, how you feeling today? How you feeling after this weekend?
Great, man. Had a good weekend. Good start to my week. Getting excited for Q4. Been looking at some trades. Just placed a sell for my Riven stock. I was like, what am I doing here, man? Okay, it's getting a little silly trying to long a bankrupt stock just because I see a bunch of meme lords tweeting about it on the timeline. You know, if it 2X's, I don't care, because I just I did some research and it's like these guys are so fucked. There's not 2021 funny money. So happy I sold that, because it just means I'm staying rational, which means the market's probably going to stay rational for longer. That's a good sign.
What is Riven?
It's like a competitor, if you could even call it that, to Tesla. It's like electric car company. The one that had like the CEO got in trouble for fraud because they just like rolled the big truck down the hill for their promo video and was like, look at this electric truck. It was actually just rolling down a hill. Yeah. So got out of that trade.
Riven made the Amazon vans. Interesting.
Did they?
I guess so. We got a lot to talk about today. We're gonna have a weather report from Kicks coming in a second, but first we're gonna let you know the show is brought to you in partnership with our friends over at YEET. YEET just surpassed $600 million in volume over the last 6 months. That's over $100 million per month for the math whizzes out there. We're gonna have a couple YEET giveaways at the end of the show. We're gonna give away $500. We're gonna spin the wheel 2 times, $250 a piece. To be eligible, we have some requirements. You need to have done volume during the month of September on YEET. We have our leaderboard. It's currently locked. You need to have signed up with our code. So bodogos.com/YEET. That gets you signed up for future giveaways if you haven't yet. You need to sign up there to make sure you're eligible for these in the future. And then additionally, you need to be listening. So you need to be commenting your YEET username on the YouTube comments or in the spaces. If you hit a reply to our space, you'll also be eligible. So could have some pretty good odds here with all these requirements. Bodogos.com/YEET to sign up for future giveaways. If you are somebody who has done volume in September, you've used our code, make sure to comment your username in the YouTube comments or the spaces. We'll set the cutoff to basically right about when I'm going to spin. So you have a bit of time to enter them in. Big shout out to YEET. Big fans of what they're doing. They're going to be having an airdrop where they've confirmed 40% of the token supply is going to the community. So a nice farm on top of that. Love to see it. Big shout out to YEET. We're going to have some fun spinning the wheel later, but lots to talk about. Kicks, let's take it away with the weather report.
You got it, man. You came out quick out of the gate there, dude. You keep me on my toes. Usually I'm cutting you off. Ladies and gentlemen, today's Tuesday, September 30th. Looking over at the crypto roundup, majors are mostly even on the day. Bitcoin hovering around 113K, Solana over 4,100. ETH over 4,100, Solana fighting over 200, Hype back to about $45. Over the past 24 hours, breaking news was sourced from our very own Nick O'Neill that Pump Fund allegedly laid off 1/3 of its staff. There is speculation that this layoff comes ahead of token vesting in an imminent Pump airdrop. Okay, Nick. Next up, it was a big day for crypto ETFs as combined inflows for Bitcoin and Ethereum crossed the 1 billion mark over the last 24 hours. Also, a number of incoming ETFs pulled their 19B filings. Everyone knows what that means. In light of new SEC guidance, Bloomberg ETF expert Eric Balchuna said that the baby could come any day. Be ready. I'll tell you what, I'm excited for the baby known as Hyperliquid. Finally, Andre Krone's Flying Tulip Perp Dex, what a name, raised $200 million at a $1 billion valuation ahead of an $800 million public sale. The investment round features a novel mechanic that allows investors to redeem their tokens 1-to-1 for initial investment at any point following TGE. They famously are saying that you have unlimited upside risk with no downside risk. We'll see how that turns out. That's it for the weather report. Back to you in the studio.
Excellent weather report as always, Kicks. We talked about Flying Tulip. We had Manny on the show a couple weeks back because I wanted to bring this up and talk about it a little bit. Looks like they just closed their seed round and they're going to have a public round coming up. Like Kick said, basically whatever token you put in to buy this, you can redeem your tokens back for that in the future. So pretty interesting mechanic there, I guess. Providing like essentially a token floor price to an extent. The protocol is basically running off yield off of this $1 billion. So you're giving up your yield for token upside, essentially. So pretty cool things coming out, especially when perp dexes are the rage right now. I'm sure they had no issue filling up that seed round over the last couple weeks. We have a lot to talk about. I want to bring up this Nick video. I'm going to play it. I'm going to start playing it here just to give like the breakdown on what he's been reporting. He's been pretty accurate on some of these reports where he's the only one talking about and everyone's speculating. So we'll just do a quick throw over to Nick here in the field.
But breaking news coming out of Singapore today, Pump Fund reportedly is laying off 1/3 of their staff. That's right, 24 people, according to people that I've spoken to. Why? Well, there's a number of factors playing in here, but one of the most significant is that they didn't want their employees' tokens to vest. Is that because they're underperformers? That's not quite clear. Also, according to the sources that I spoke to, this may be partially motivated by an imminent second airdrop or the official airdrop of the Pump token.
So that's essentially the news. He talks about it a bit more there. Do you think we see a Pump token airdrop in the next week or two on the back of this? We know Nick's been kind of spot on some of these things. Any thoughts here, Kicks or Greeny? I see a lot of doubt on these faces here.
I don't know. Like, it wasn't like there's obviously been nothing else outside of Nick's video in speculation in time frame. So who really knows? Maybe it's alpha. I mean, you're right. Like he nailed that RTKF stuff like what, a year in advance or whatever it was. So he does have a track record, so you can't put it past him. But look, I don't think Pump Fund, I mean, the market's not where it wants to be for you to launch this airdrop, in my opinion. I think give it a couple of months and maybe that might be better market conditions.
Yeah, I'm with Greeny here. I think there's two things that you look at. One is the price of Pump itself, or rather the price action of Pump itself. And then secondarily, and probably more importantly, but highly correlated, is what's going on the Pump platform. So we saw them really try to push creator markets. I want to say like middle of September-ish, 2-3 weeks ago, I think. And while they had some cool things happen there for a bit, it all pretty much fizzled out. I would expect if they were going to do a token airdrop, they would do it on the back of an electric Q4, on the back of volume pumping on their platform, and on the back of ideally their token price going up as well. Now, could they tease out an airdrop, right, and say it's coming in the future and use that to try to get some volume going on the platform? Certainly could happen. But I agree with Greeny. Right now, like the market, like dropping it like in the next week, I think these guys are pretty smart. They've made a lot of money. They have smart advisors. They're going to do it at a smart time. Also, I don't think they firing a third of the employees, if that even happened, has anything to do with an airdrop, because the employees would be vested anyways. So why would an airdrop have anything to do with that? But great reporting, Nick, on the ground in Singapore.
Yeah, I'm not so sure. Elon has been doing some hinting on the timeline. He's been doing some speculation. He's been stoking the flames. I want to pull up the charting on Pump and take a look at like that token, because this is one I talked about the other day, saying like maybe a pullback to 40 or 4 billion. I become a little bit more interested. We're at what, 5.4 bill right now. This thing, it basically peaked on the daily here, 8.6, sitting at 5.4 right now. Greeny, have you traded in and out of hype at all recently? What are your thoughts here on these levels?
Yeah, I zoom out further, Ray. I can share my screen. Hold on. Here we go. Yeah, so I've zoomed out further. I like this level. What I'm looking at is potentially a high low here forming off the golden pocket from the swing breakout to the swing high. Obviously, that's the all-time high as well. So that's probably the first level I'm watching. If that starts to break, then watching the greater pullback. Like Kick said, like the market's horrible right now. Like it's really choppy. Look, we've had some runners, obviously, Avandis, Aster, and whatnot. Hyperliquid also broke out really nicely, but it's not the best environment to be looking for that next aggressive leg up per se. So I think based on this, and I looked at the fees earlier today, and Aster's dominating fees at the moment. Obviously, that's airdrop farming specifically, and even Hyperliquid is doing pretty decent compared to Pump Fund. So I agree with Kicks. It's like, are they really in the best position right now to launch a token? I don't know, or launch their airdrop. Sorry. Yeah, maybe it comes, but yeah, I'm definitely looking for a breakout here. I think if price action breaks out here, that's probably maybe one of the last legs that we see for Pump Fund, particularly if their airdrop is about to drop in the coming months, because people are just going to sell that. Like if you got streamers getting a shit ton of money, you've got traders and devs getting a lot of money. Obviously the teams, they made like over billions of dollars or whatever it is. Like, yeah, it's hard to not at least trade into that rather than probably looking to hold it longer term.
Yeah, I think that does make sense. You're looking at a potential bearish unlock versus a bullish unlock on those tokens. You're going to have people who've been basically like eviscerated by the trenches, getting a little bit of money and saying, okay, I'm going to go play with it in the trenches again. You're at the casino. They're giving away the chips. You just have to cash them into dollars.
It's absolutely wild to me that people are still trying to trade in the trenches. Like it's been so difficult for so long. Your edge just isn't there anymore. And I personally haven't had an edge since the end of last year. So I don't know.
Yeah, and I also think that like for a period of time, definitely last summer, and then like going into Q4 before virtuals started to get some traction, there wasn't a lot going on other than some price action on the majors. And then like trading the trenches on Pump. That's like where I felt like you could, like there was nothing going on with NFTs at the time, right? And it's like now, even though Greeny is correct saying that the market is choppy, he also highlighted Aster, all of these other perp dex trades. We've had NFTs do interesting runs. We had Punk STR. Point that we have altcoins that are starting to make some moves, like Zcash made a nice move. Point being is that now you have options. Now, if you're trying to make money, right, outside of the majors, you have more things that you can look at other than just Pump Fund. So when you add that into what Greeny said, that the trenches are horrible right now, it's like, why would you even go and try? Like me, I'm like, that would be desperation for me. It's like, there's nothing else I can make right now. I'm like, okay, I got a long on Doge. I got a long on World Liberty Financial. I'm looking at other majors. I did a swing trade on Hype. I made some money on Punk STR. There's just so many more interesting things going on in the space, and things that are more natural to my crypto trading expertise, or just rather what I like, which is like, I like to trade things where I can go to sleep and wake up and be like, I'm not going to be down 90%, or I'm not getting like bundle farmed. Like I'm not getting bundle
Yeah.
farmed on a Doge swing trade. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
so
You might
yeah.
be bundle farmed on Aster.
Yeah, true. I actually saw you longed it, Ray, and I pulled up the TA and I was like,
Sure.
yeah, it was like a 50-50 based on the TA that I looked up. And I've actually made some good money the last 30 days trading on Hyperliquid. And I was like, I want to keep the P&L looking nice. So I'm going to wait on this one.
Yeah. Not a great trade at this point. We're down on that one. Couple percent. So not ideal. I was like, okay, I said I was going to buy $2 basically on the breakout, and we got to like 194, 195. And I was like, okay, I'm going to front run it a little bit. And then it just pinged off double top and has.
Yeah. I mean, the tricky thing is I think their airdrop is happening in 5 days.
Yeah.
Yeah. My thesis is it's a bullish airdrop unlock. I think a lot of this volume is probably Binance/CZ is my like thesis / setup. Like where did all this like perp volume come out of nowhere, essentially to have it do more fees and revenue than Tether?
But the thing is, if your thesis is most of the volume is CZ Binance, right? Then why would the price go up? Because then the market is not going to price this thing on that volume, right? Like I saw a lot of people on the timeline, they're like, this thing's doing 5 billion annualized in revenue. Like, how is it only sitting at, shy of $2? I'm like, that's your answer. Like, your answer is that the market does not think this is. If it was actually doing $5 billion in revenue, that's 5 times Hyperliquid. So, like, if you believe that was all 100% true, this thing should be trading at $50 billion circulating. You know what I mean? Like it should be a $20 coin, but it's not. You know what I mean? So I'm not sure that people not selling the airdrop then makes people all of a sudden like, oh, let's long this to $4. And yeah, I also think that it didn't. I personally think this is just conspiracy theory. Remember, I think CZ thought he was going to get more out of this move than is happening right now. Because he tried to basically skull fuck the Hyperliquid chart, dumping $100 million worth of it. And he basically got the price down 30%, and then it rallies off of that. And it looks basically completely unaffected. There's no flows out of Hyperliquid. So it's just like, I don't think that now, yes, they can improve Aster, they can make it better, and they can make it more competitive. All of these things can be true. But I think that this was intended to suck more away from Hyperliquid than it did. And now the price is lagging because that didn't happen.
I started my team, I'm going to say like 5 days ago. And the amount of people that join in and how well we're going for the points for this stage 2 is absolutely nuts. Like we're top 3,000, I think. And in the past couple of days, we were top 17,000 for Epoch 3. I think a lot of people are hustling for the airdrop because they missed the stage 1. So I think a lot of people will probably put a bit of sell pressure. However, if they do incentivize USDF and whatnot on the platform, and yeah, you're right, it's so buggy. Like the UI definitely needs an improvement. But if they can sort that sort of stuff out, then yeah, I don't mind the trade. Also, it is at its golden pocket right now. Like I was long. I took a trade on the long, probably from the low. I think it was the low on the 28th. And it broke out. But obviously we've had a little bit of a double top after that breakdown, and it's retesting that golden pocket again around sort of 1.68 to mid 1.74. So yeah, look, I'm tempted to maybe even long again because your invalidation there is just so clear. Like it's clear that if it kind of loses 1.68, then it's probably going to correct down to sort of like, yeah, at least like 1.4 or something like that. So again, like I like to take trades where the risk to reward is in your favor, where your edge is in your favor. So for me, I really don't mind maybe looking at this and taking a bit of a swing trade into the airdrop and probably looking to move stop loss to break even as soon as it maybe does pump into the airdrop as well. That's the other thing you got to remember too. As Kick said, this it ends on the 5th of October. So you've still got 5 days to trade, a lot of volume on there. You got to claim them after that date. Yeah. But yeah, be interesting to see. It's 4% of the supply, so who knows? Who knows?
Yeah, we shall see. We shall see. I jumped the gun a little bit, got greedy, and paid the price for it.
I mean, the chart I saw, like when I looked at the 4 hour, because that's what I've been trading it on.
Yeah.
I was like, the 4 hour looks like it wants to, because you can see the MACD at the bottom. It's like when you took it, it looked like it was going to curl up.
Yeah.
But I just got I like to trade clean MACDs. So they make one clean like U shape. And when they do these little like pulses, it's not like my win rate goes down on those. So that's why I stopped out. But I do think that the story's not done with Aster. I do think that yes, you could make money trading this. It may be something like, I think there's probably more support at like 159 range. So like I wouldn't be surprised, like if you guys are playing the bullish unlock thesis, right, that it kind of sits in this range, tokens come out, it goes to like 150, 159, and then it's able to make a rally off of that. But
yeah, I took this 2 hour bottomed out stochastic, so very similar to MACD, just a momentum indicator, and it was bottomed out here. That's where I entered the long. Took this trade, and then it showed a lot of weakness the past couple of days, and volume has also gone down. Like that's a big thing for me. If you see a breakout and volume, let me just get rid of the fib, but see how volume's still going down, like that does show a lot of weakness, that there aren't a lot of new buyers stepping in at this moment of time. So yeah, as you said, like the 4 hour does have room for lower below the pivot. Yeah, so maybe it does go a little bit deeper, maybe pulls back a little bit further before we see maybe that rally into the airdrop potentially.
Yeah, speaking of other dexes, we talked about Flying Tulip releasing their or
is
like
that
filling
a dex?
their,
Or is it?
say again?
Is that a dex?
Flying Tulip is a perp dex. Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
On Sonic. Yeah. So that's,
yeah, I'm a fan of Andre. He did a lot of cool DeFi stuff back in 2020. Some people got a bad rap, like say he has a bad rap because he launched a bunch of projects and like not all of them worked out, but it's like, I don't know, that's like called being an entrepreneur, I think, you know. And he's had a lot of successes. Yeah. And I knew some people that crushed it off of I think it was YFI, Yearn Finance.
Yep.
Like absolutely crushed it off of Yearn Finance back in 2020. So I mean, this guy's smart. He knows what he's doing. Also, if Susquehanna is on your cap table as a perp dex, you're probably going to have some pretty good market makers.
Yeah,
Virtual's protocol on there. It's just out of left field right there. I just saw
right. So
they're
my
doing
question
investing.
Is,
okay,
I'm going to put Greeny on the spot here and have him do a chart that I have almost 100% confidence he hasn't done yet. Is the Sonic token, and see what he thinks about Sonic potentially heading into this, because this is going to be launching on Sonic.
Is that FTM?
Yeah. It's S, isn't it?
Just S. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's not FTM.
I probably haven't charted it for a couple months. Let's have a look. Oh my god, it looks pretty horrible.
Wait, what's the ticker? S, really?
Yeah, just
S. Yeah.
I thought it was FTM for some reason. Maybe
it was. It switched.
Okay.
All right. So yeah. So basically, I mean, same sort of stuff here. Like you are bottomed out on stochastic here on the weekly. What's the current price? We're still not quite probably above where you want to see strong price action. 3 to 5 day probably needs a little bit longer. 3 day needs a little bit longer. Daily possibly. So yeah, maybe in the next week or two, this could look for a breakout. There might be some bullish divergences forming here too. Yep. If this low here holds around this sort of level at the 17th percentile, then yeah, you've got a bullish divergence forming there. So I mean, yeah, maybe this is a good thing for
Greeny's such a better TA trader than me, because I just looked at the chart and I'm like, I got no read on this thing. I got no read on this guy.
It's not a great looking chart, but Discord says, "What are you guys talking about? LOL, this is so down the rabbit hole."
But this is cool. So what do you call this where you draw the white line?
I would call that a resistance break. Like that's resistance.
Okay.
So price is respecting that level as a resistance.
And then when you get a breakthrough that's bullish. Because I've seen you make some great trades off of this. Like I think you did Pangu off of this.
Yeah. So like, yeah, let's run that for example. Basically like back here, like I'm looking on high time frames way back here. So when the
I remember you doing this, and I was like, man, I should follow Greeny. Wish I did.
So basically, like I'm using a range of sort of strategies. Like you're trying to time the breakout before it kind of happens, right? You can take a breakout trade. There's nothing wrong with that. But also you're looking for changes of structure. So it might have gone down and gone absolutely horrific. Like if I go to 0, maybe, I think from memory, it got close to the 886, which I have removed. So let me chuck that in. But, and let's make it red so it's nice and obvious. So it reclaimed the 886 down here. And then that's where I started to go, okay, well, it's broken out this high time frame resistance. So
and it reclaimed it in one big candle. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah,
that's interesting, right? Because that makes me think like other people are looking for that same kind of move.
Exactly. And so like, again, how I base a trade, and a lot of people are like, Greeny, this only has like 2 lines. I'm like, yeah, that's fine. I'm still looking for, like, if you look really closely down on the daily here, it actually touches it 4 or 5 times, like way back down here, like 4 or 5 times down here. You see a spike in volume. That's always good as well. But you had the first higher high and the first higher low, right? So you had this here is the sort of high I was watching. Okay, well, if we can break above that high, then that's the first sign that, okay, this is about to go pretty crazy. We had the first structure change here from lower lows, okay, to a higher low. So they're the first sort of 2 things I look for. Then I look for the higher high and I'm like, yep, this is about to send from here because that's a breakout. You see volume come in and then you're like, well, it's breaking above a high time frame resistance and it's going to run it back up a lot higher. So yeah, that's kind of how I like to trade on low time frames as well. Like you can do that on a 2-hour chart, on a 15-minute chart. You just need to make sure that you're taking into consideration the higher time frame trends.
I think where I've improved my trade, because I used to basically just do TA, and I'm not doing sophisticated TA like you. I would just do like Bollinger Band squeezes and MACD curls, and I would hit some wins with it, but it wasn't, let's say, where I would want it to be. Oh, this cycle and primarily this year, where I've gotten a lot better is taking the TA and looking at the TA, but then also framing what I think will happen fundamentally, not what I want to happen, but what I think will happen, meaning that like if I'm like on hype, I did a little swing trade from like 42 to 46, and that was just because it was really oversold on the technicals. And then I was like, but then I was also like, from a fundamental, just understanding the space and perspective, I'm like, okay, hype had a big sell-off. It's stabilizing, still very bullish hype. So when I've been able to pair, or like, for example, with Pengu, if you're like, hey, I think this is going to be one of the biggest meme coins of 2025, and you pair that with your
100%.
Technical analysis, then you not only can make better trades, but also maybe have the conviction to hold onto the trade a little bit longer than you would, just off of TA. I still agree. I suck at shorting though. That's the one thing that I'm just not good at. I don't know why. Usually I'm longing when I should be shorting. I'm euphorically longing.
Yeah, no, we can talk about shorting. I'll answer some of these questions. Like Ron's asking, like the lines, don't touch the top. Like you want as many touches as possible, right? Like it doesn't necessarily have to align with every single line, but if it's a body of a candle that also touches lines on the upside or the downside, then that's still an applicable trend that it has to break. So that's the first point I want to say. Second point is the invalidation on the Pengu trade would have been previous all-time low. So because it's broken out of that high time frame trend where it's found a bottom, that's the other thing, as Kick said, like if you like, I've looked at tens of thousands of charts. So you know how to read a chart these days. So I look for that rounding bottom, as I said before, the higher lows, the higher highs, and then my invalidation is literally below all-time lows, because if it breaks that, then yeah, it's absolutely shitting the bed. It's going to 0, but its upside is exactly where it went, all-time highs previously. So that's where the risk reward is just so epic at those sort of scenarios. If you're patient enough, you like aren't emotional, then you can wait for some of the best setups, and you could allocate 50K to a low leverage trade like that and make far more money than people who are out there trying to trench, out there trying to do info fire stuff like that. So again, as Kick said at the start of the show, like whatever your strategy is, lean into that. Whatever you like to do and whatever works for you in terms of an active approach, more passive approach, what you enjoy. These things are all so important when you're looking to trade crypto. To answer your short question, shorting is hard. I will say, like, obviously you can long something to billions. You can only short something to 0, right? So different perspective. I think the biggest thing for me with shorting is there's 2 ways I particularly like to short. It's high time frame trends when they break that. So you know how we just looked at resistance. Let me try and find a trend. Like,
so
it's
like
the opposite.
opposite on a high on a high time frame, not on like a 4 hour, like on a daily
Yeah.
or something. Or
So
a
like
weekly.
I always go back to MOG, for example, here. So this is like, I remember I called it out on the timeline, got absolutely abused for it because I was short MOG and I sold all my MOG way back here. I think it was like on a weekly time frame. I apologize. I am on a laptop.
No, you're good.
So basically it was along this, around this sort of time. I can't remember specifically where it was, but it was like here. So like you see how you had this breakout trend, which was where I went absolutely long. I bought a shit ton of this and traded up to 1.5 billion. Then I literally said, I'm selling it all here. It looks like price is starting to slow down a little bit. Volumes sold off. It's up 5x from when I was in. Why would I not take some profit off the table? So I put a tweet out, came money, and everyone abused me. It was hilarious. I loved it. And
you're usually right when you get abused for selling.
Yeah, exactly. And so I shorted it because the way I like to short is, this is one way I like to short, is if it breaks this line and it comes up, retest this this is support, if we call it that. So support. If it breaks that and it can't get back above, that is now resistance.
Yeah.
And that's a short there. Okay. Stop loss above the previous high, and you're literally targeting all the way down there. So that's the first way I like to short. The other way I like to short is kind of like tops of ranges. Like we haven't really necessarily seen one more recently. Like on BTC, for example, you had bearish divergence from this high as well. And you could easily say that this is a range from 74K. Let me just clean up my chart a little bit. But basically, this is a range from 74K to the top here on a weekly level that we have not ever closed above 119. So you could easily short anytime we get up there. You could look for shorts off that with the invalidation above the previous high, or you wait until this deviation occurs. And then you get down on lower timeframes and you watch, okay, well, when does it break back into the range? So if you're trading on, say, a daily, you come up here, okay, I'm seeing here, we've crashed below here. It's now set a lower high below there. That's my entry point, stop loss above here, and I'm targeting back towards the 0.25 level of the range. So that's how I like to short. I usually, like, again, in a bull market, I don't really preference shorts too often because the macro trend is still going up. But
I think it gives you something to do when you're
Correct.
in like downwards chop, or like you're in a pullback, versus if you're long only.
Yeah.
The only thing you can really do is like sell and look to re-enter, or just sit on your hands. So that's why I'm trying to get better on the short side, because it just gives you more things. Like it makes more of your year productive. Where
100%. And that's like, that's why, like, I know a lot of Badogos members are in GTG. Like that's why we focus so heavily on like leverage trading in GTG, because you can always long and short the market, no matter what the conditions are, no matter what price action is doing, whether it's at $1 billion or it's at $10, you can always short along the market. And so we have some of the best traders literally worldwide who are far better than I am. I do my own thing and they do their own thing, and they absolutely kill it day to day. So yeah, it's amazing to be having conversations with those sorts of people, because some of the things that they do as well is insane. So I love that. And I think it's important to know that you should always be looking to long and short the market, because price can't always go up. I think that's a big secret that a lot of people avoid, let's call it.
And not to give, and sorry, Ray, if you want to dance around, I'm just asking one more question, and you don't have to give away your secret sauce if you don't want to, but how do you approach, you have a bankroll, let's just look at it percentages. Your bankroll is 100%. How do you, like, what are you doing on trades? You doing 2%? Are you sizing it up and down based on your conviction?
Yeah. So I was religious for a long time now. I would allocate only 1 to 2% per trade because that's it. Once you learn the emotional side of sitting in a trade, and once you learn to trade with $10, then it shouldn't matter how much money you're actually dealing with after that point. So if you like teach yourself to trade with 1 to 2%, and a lot of people always say, Greeny, like that's only like $8 for me, or $6 or $10 or $50, whatever it is. I'm like, yeah, but we're not focused on the money here. We're focused on the skills and the emotional side of it. And if you can do that for a month, I promise you, in 3 months, 6 months, a year's time, you'll be trading with thousands of dollars per position, and you will have the right skill set, the right emotions to execute when it matters most, compared to if you don't do that and you try and risk it with 100x leverage and those sorts of things. So
blow up your whole stack.
Exactly. So for me, the biggest trades I ever take is about 5%. And again, that's only a small, again, I have a certain percentage.
Really
of my
high
portfolio.
conviction.
Yeah, exactly. And even within that, that's 5% of that allocation of that portfolio that's on that exchange. And I have wealth like spread out in other sort of ways and other sort of risks. So yeah, it's always these are conversations we have every day in GTG. It's not only like we might be taking a long on Aster, for example, but why are we doing that? And why aren't we doing ABC over here as well? So there's a lot that goes into my thinking every single day.
So we've done a number of charts here. Appreciate the insight on position and entry. We also had news out of the SEC basically saying, hey, ETFs that have filed, withdraw your 19B4 filings. We have a generic listing standard coming up. Eric Belchin is saying, hey, some of these listings could be coming any day now. Like we're getting ready for the baby. So here's a listing of, here are the list of ETFs that could be coming: Litecoin, XRP, Sol, Cardano, and Doge. Out of these tickers, are there any of these that are setting up nicely for a potential trade on an ETF announcement?
I might take the wrong stance here. I think, is ETF a sell the news? Like, what's your take on that? Like, genuinely, do you think with this, if you think about what Bitcoin did straight out of the gate, we pumped into it, we pumped after it, and from there, Bitcoin really hasn't outperformed other altcoins out there. So, altcoins actually getting listed as ETFs, a sell the news event once they obviously come? That's my own question. You can answer that after. In terms of TA right now, I'm very patient. I think the market is very indecisive, even though we had a rate cut and whatnot. We just had no rate cut again in Australia. So the world's still a bit unsure. Global liquidity is steady, but is increasing into 2026. So that's obviously probably the most correlated you can kind of take on. So I don't know, like Solana rejected. I was telling everyone it's going to reject from 260-ish to 300, and it did. I think Doge might be, it broke out. Do I have, yeah, this is Dogecoin. I know Kicks is long. I'm watching this level. If it doesn't hold this level, then it probably does come back towards sort of 16 cents, I'd say. Solana, let's have a look at it. Solana could be interesting if you can capture, it dipped to 190 and it reacted really well for me off that level. So that's one I'm keeping an eye on. I don't really like it at the current point of time. ADA, I do not even look at that chart, but here, let's have a look at it. Let's have a look at this chart. It obviously, yeah.
Oh, you got a line on there.
I do have a line on here.
Funny.
So maybe we got a line on here. Let's have a look. Let's tighten this up a little bit. So obviously it broke out a little bit from there, but again, on higher time frames, this thing is absolutely ropeable. Again, like, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I'll give you a maybe rate. I want lower. I want lower or sideways for longer before I look for a lot of positions.
This is how I think about the ETFs, right? Is who is the buyer of an ETF, right? Like you can say institutionals, institutional kind of whatever, right? Or pension funds, blah, 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 blah. Yes, there's money there for sure. I also think though that like still there's a lot of like smart money that can buy things before they are going to ETFs, right? And then I think about like essentially like boomers in their 401ks, right? Like they don't know what Robinhood is. They think it's a cartoon, right? So like they don't have, if it's not on E-Trade for their 401k, they're not able to buy it, right? Those are like the two people I really profile it for. For example, one of my golf buddies, he's not into investing in a big way whatsoever, and he owns Dogecoin. And he owns like $6,000 worth. He like DCA down all summer, right? This guy figured out how to buy Dogecoin without an ETF. You know what I mean? Because it's very accessible. Like you can buy Dogecoin on Robinhood, right? There's a lot of places you can already buy Dogecoin. So I think that like sell the news. Yes, I think like even I'm a fan of Pudgy Penguins. I don't think Pengu ETF is like a bullish thing because it's like, are institutionals or boomers allocating, right? Like anybody that probably knows about Pengu or is excited about Pengu could already get Pengu. I would be more bullish on Pengu. It may already be there, but if Pengu is like, you can buy us on Robinhood, that is more bullish for Pengu, in my personal opinion, than an ETF because there are way more of their target audience on a Robinhood. So like ETFs I am bullish on. Yes, I'm talking my own bags, but like Hyperliquid. Hyperliquid is not easy for people to buy. You cannot go to Coinbase and buy it. You cannot go to Robinhood and buy it. And there is a lot of institutional Wall Street money that this is a like business that they wanted to invest in, right? So like a Hyperliquid ETF, I would even argue a pump ETF. Those are things that are now that is opening real businesses up to capital inflows of people that want to invest in real businesses versus like an XRP. Everybody that I know that wants to own XRP, there's not a single soul out there that's like, I can't get into XRP yet. You know, I got to wait for the ETF. So yeah, that's my take on the ETFs. But I do think situationally they can be. So a Solana ETF I think is bullish because I think there's a lot there. The profile of people that buy ETFs would want Solana.
I think if you take a long-term perspective, I think ETFs are bullish for the coins that are getting allocated to them. You just got to remember this is probably like a 5 to 10 year plan.
Yes.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think I agree with Greeny there. Like it's more tailwinds than it is immediate buy pressure. Also, I think these are gonna be a little bit different than the ETH and Bitcoin counterparts because there was already kind of like the grayscale funds where it kind of like messed around with the flows. Where like, hey, there is like people could sell into these, they rotate. There's a little bit of like wonky stuff going on with the existing funds. This is like the first like true.
But just to give me an example. Doge ETF launches. Who's buying it?
So, I mean, that's like, I'd say Doge might be more of a like desired ETF than Pump for boomers and TradFi. I think that's a better, like that could be a better, like, hey, I have no idea what Pump is, but Doge, I've heard of that. That's that meme coin. Elon's talking about that. They have an ETF for that. Like that, it must be a big deal. I can get in early on day one. Like I see that.
I don't hate it. I don't hate it. It's funny hearing it, but I don't hate it.
XRP and Doge are the most normie known tokens.
That was the next one. XRP ETF was another one I was going to say. Like that one.
But what I'm saying is, dude, if my buddy who doesn't have a 401k, has never bought a stock in his fucking life, has 6K of Doge, who are the Carol down the street? Oh, I can finally call up my financial advisor and get an allocation to Doge now in my 401k. I only got 10 years left on this planet, but let's take the last 10 to the moon on Doge. Maybe I'm fucking wrong. I'm open to be fucking wrong, dude. I mean, hey, there's no downside, right? There's no structural downside other than people trying to front run and sell into it, right? But there's no like Doge has an ETF. That's bad for Doge, right? So the floor is neutral. So there is only potential for upside. But
yeah, but when you look at like a neutral event, if it's a neutral event, it's a sell the news event because there's always speculation heading into it.
Yeah. But then you said that's short term, right? And you said over ETFs are a long time frame kind of play over multiple years. So I'm with you. But yeah, I think Hyperliquid's the best.
I like this. This official dog trainer LLC getting in the comments watching the Best Buddy Dog Trainer LLC. Check them out if they're in your area and you need your dog trained. Best Buddy LLC. Official dog training LLC of the Daily Bone podcast. Oh man. Okay, so we're not buying any of these ahead of the ETFs. We think it's gonna.
I am in Doge. I'll take a fucking ETF pump in Q4. Like, trust me, I am down for that.
This is the last day of September. Like, are we entering October?
Q4.
I see a lot of like bearish sentiment on the timeline. I know you already kind of charted Bitcoin a little bit. And you had some targets. You had your fair value gap in the 80s to 90s for Bitcoin. I've been watching a bunch of Trader Main. I've been reading Ansem on the timeline, both kind of like saying, hey, we're going to go down again before we go up. Are you of the same mindset, Greeny, where we're going to have some sort of pullback here? And what levels are you targeting for a potential long on majors?
Yeah, I wouldn't say I'm maybe not as bearish as Ansem, let's say. I'd just say I would prefer, particularly Ethereum, to go sideways at least or further down, correct a little bit further. If you asked me like a week ago, I would have probably said 98 to 105 was on the cards, but we obviously bounced really nicely from 108. And that's what I said. A few people were like, oh, Greeny, you're quite bearish. And I was like, nah, let's watch what happens at 108 first. Big buy pressure, bounce off that level, previous all-time high, and lower high still here. So my preference is still sideways or like further down for a while. I don't think we go too far sub 100K. I don't. But I don't see why we can't pull back to say 102, 105, and 108 again. Particularly Ethereum. Like it's obviously you got to remember this thing went on a crazy 2.5x like move, and it's the second largest.
It's not
the largest
meme coin.
Second largest. Exactly, it's the second largest. That's billions and billions of dollars. So it needs to chill. If you want Ethereum to reach 5, 7K. I don't think it goes above that.
Got to go
too
back to
much.
3,600, or
Yes.
or it's
Yeah.
got to like chop down until the technicals
Exactly. Exactly. And it's to pull. I mean, this is a big level as well. Speaking of that, at about 4K, because that's
If
previous.
Bitcoin does run, this thing's going to be dragging a blackout drunk buddy out of the bar along for the ride. Like, it's going to go up, but it's going to.
Yeah. No, I agree. If it pumps sooner rather than later, I sell everything. That's the end of the market. Like, I would much rather see us kind of coil into like even like November potentially, and then sort of see a rally into the end of the year and into 2026. As long as liquidity and stuff and the rest of the world is still pretty chill, then I don't see why we
no
can't.
nukes from Russia, stuff like that.
Exactly. So yeah, they're the levels I'm watching. So yeah, I mean, if ETH pulls back to 3.4K ish, I open up a pretty sizable long in my opinion. So that's where I'm watching.
If I triple round trip this thing, dude, I'm gonna fucking kill myself.
Oh, dude, please sell it. Please sell it.
No, luckily in August, because like my ETH bag still has a lot of like NFT exposure in August, and I took profits on those into cash. So my like overall ETH basket is still quite heavy, but way less heavy than it was in like the middle of August. So
you literally top ticked Pudgy Penguins the day you came on our show.
And it was so funny because you guys, like, in the intro, it's like R3 Pudgies, you know? And I'm like, yeah. So you're like, did you sell that? I'm like, yeah, I'm sorry. But, and it was the same kind of thing. You like felt like crap. But here's the thing. So I bought that thing in 2023 at $6,000, rode it up to 138, sold some Pangu airdrop. So I, still captured some of that price. But then it goes down to, I want to say 60, but Pangu was still really hot. This was like in January of this year. And we do this annual like friends and family trip to this winter resort place. And it's great for the kids and everything. And we're at the dinner the first night. And it was like 3 families, nothing crazy. It was like a $500 tab. And I picked it up and I'm like, I've had a really great, past couple of months. And my profile pick is worth 60 grand.
Yeah.
As soon as I said that, inside my head, I was like, I need to go fucking upstairs and sell this fucking thing. And I didn't. And I kid you not, because we're talking about it. The guys are talking about it again this year. So we sent a text in it. And the like last text is from, here's me, Tuesday, January 28th. My penguin lost 30K in value in a week. Should have dumped that R-word bird. You can't even fly. And then my buddy replies, riding it to zero, question mark. I said, we shall see. What's worse, riding it to zero or selling it now and it doubles in a big rally? And it came back. And so when it came back the second time, I'm like, I'm out of this thing, dude. There's no way. If I go back down to 20, you know how trading is. If you mentally mess yourself up, I would be fine for these things to go to 200K. That's better than this thing going back to 20 for my mental
100%.
health. So yeah,
I think
sold that.
That's like my whole abstract. I was up over 6 figures on abstract and I was completely ignoring my usual trading strategies because of like, I thought the market was going to pump from where it was and I ignored it. I lost like 50 grand. I was like, you know what, stuff this, I'm cutting it all, and sold pretty much all of my bags over there. It's yeah, you got to find your thesis and stick to it as often as possible. And
I mean, we were on that call and
Eli.
How am I blanking on his name? Who was on there with me?
Eli.
See his face, Craig. Eli. And he was talking about how much money was up. And I think I said on that, I was like, you should sell some of that shit, dude.
Yeah.
Like you should lock in some of that stuff. So yeah, you made some great sales. People will get mad. People don't get mad in bigger bag things. It's really in smaller bag plays that people get really angry because they do feel like you're the first one exiting the room and like trying to sneak out. They're like, what the fuck are you doing, dude? Like you're sneaking out the back door. Dude, this is the game. Dude, my number one rule in 2021 was never fall in love.
Yeah.
Whenever you fall in love with something, you are now a bag holder. Yes. You will now be the springboard that other people get rich off of. Yeah. And so I think your abstract trade was great. You timed the bottom of it well. You wrote it up. You locked in great profits. And guess what? If it comes back down and you like it again, you'll buy back in. It's not like you sold it all and said, fuck abstract, fuck everybody on abstract, I'm never coming back. You made money. You know, that's that everybody in this space trying to make money.
I agree. Yeah.
Speaking of making money, we've got green across the board on the strategy tokens. We've talked about these with a number of our guests so far. Greeny, have you been involved in any of these strategy tokens? Do you have any thoughts on these? Like, is there going to be a larger impact on the NFT market? Are these staying, or are these a flash in the pan? I'd love to hear like your general thoughts.
Sadly, Ray, I was traveling, so I miss this whole meta, which is disappointing, but it is what it is. Look, I don't mind it. It's something new, it's something innovative. But as you say, is this just another trend that lasts for a couple of weeks, or a couple of months, maybe 6 months, 12 months? I'm very intrigued about how this does play out. It looks like they're all green, aren't they? And the rest of the market's not green. So obviously something's going right here at the point of time. Like you've been in since day one, so I'd love to hear what your take is right now. 100 million, holy.
So I've been in and out. I've definitely fumbled this. I'm in again. I mean, we're approaching all-time highs on the main Punkster token. It seems like they're going to be tokenizing everything. So thought process is every one of these drops is contested at the beginning. They have these high fees initially. It buys a lot of NFTs. It generates a lot of fees. 1% of the fees are going to buy and burn this token. So the main token, I feel like, has like some sort of floor to it. But what I've been kind of thinking, like more so like outside of just like buying these tokens and token prices overall, like what happens if/when the NFT market sees like a 20 to 30% leg up overall, and then all of these strategies then start selling and burning tokens.
Yeah.
For all of them, and it creates kind of I kind of liken it like in my mind to like pouring gasoline over everything. And then like if we do see a run, like this is gonna potentially like induce some like serious FOMO, because you're gonna have floor sweeps, and then you're gonna have these things getting tokens bought and burned, generating volatility on the tokens, and then they're gonna be like adding to the sweeps of NFTs that are happening. So like a 20 to 30% run on the NFT market with all of these things in place. Like I'm very curious to see how that plays out. We haven't seen it happen with any of these that have been launched yet.
Yeah, I think like the core strategy, punk strategy, has 18 to 20 punks all listed between like 55 and 60 ETH. And if they sell, they buy and burn, right? So if you hit like a euphoria in the NFT run and all of these things start selling and buying, burning, it could be a wild catalyst. I'm a big fan of Adam. He's awesome. When I was up in New York, I got to hang out with him. Ray and I actually minted TokenWorks, which is like his pseudo kind of funding vehicle where you can fund people and then they have like the breathing room to do cool ideas. He launched a couple projects before that didn't work out, and then this one hit a dinger out of the park. But it wasn't the easiest hold, and I think this is one of the lessons that you have to take in trading and investing. So they had this big when they launched the first couple other derivative strategies, they had this big exploit, sort of is more of an ARB, but it looked like an exploit. And it was like a real big kind of FUD moment, right? Where it's like, oof, like, is this all going to die off, right? It wasn't just like the easiest, smoothest hold of all time. And also a lot of people were like, hey, it's just eventually people don't like buying 10% tax. It's just going to die off. Also, Ray got in very early. Ray got in at like 2 million. And I think one of the really hard things when you're trading is just wherever you get in at on a trade, that's how you frame everything based off of that. You know what I mean? So at 20 million, you're up 10x.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's really hard to be like, I'm up 10x, but I think I'm still really fucking early and it's going to 5x from here. Right. But that's why trading's fun.
If I'm sidelined, which ones do you think have the best sort of upside here at this point in time? Like if you think about it, right, like you would argue Pudgies and Burbs have potential airdrops, abstract / Burb token. Are they the best options because people will sweep them once there's rumors or news? Or is it a play on apes, a play on punks? What do we think here, boys?
I was going to say, I think the first test of like what happens with the buybacks and burns is going to be Moonbirds.
Yeah.
Because they have like some sort of catalyst on the horizon that could pump floor price like 20, 30%. And, you know, they have a ton of these birds.
How many do they already have? 17 lows, 17 more. That's just so cool, dude.
35 Moonbirds.
I mean, and so Greeny, I don't know if we told you this, I'm repeating myself. He built this all fully on chain. It all runs through smart contracts and Uniswap V4 hooks. There's no middleman. There's no guy sitting there with his ledger relisting these for 20%.
Yeah,
so
that's epic. That's epic.
It's kind of a work of art in a sense. But yeah.
Oh, are they all on ETH?
Honestly,
yeah, all on ETH.
I think the Moonbird Burbster could be interesting in that regard, and I think it's priced kind of like as such. Meebits is like leaning into it pretty heavily. Sergito is like doing things with the token. Like he's like dedicated
early too. Day one, he was like, I'm going to use my fees to buy back. Like he bought into this thing in a big way, which I was impressed with.
Like they're using their fees to buy the listed, like the above floor listings for like the Meebits.
Oh, okay. Oh, I see.
Yeah. So like they're like trying to like get the flywheel going. So like,
well, maybe I farm OpenSea token swaps into this as well and hit you with.
I like that.
Yeah, right. Okay, that's my afternoon plan. Thanks, boys.
Yeah, that'll be interesing. The new
How long are you traveling for, Greeny? Sorry,
no, another 3 weeks. Another 3 weeks.
Nice. Hey, good time to get back. You have plenty of Q4. Coach Ray, I actually have to leave right now. Is that okay?
Yeah, we're gonna wrap up anyway. Thank you for joining us, Greeny. Really appreciate you hopping in. Thank you all for listening. Greeny, if you could just give a quick plug for GTG, what you do over there and what you offer, love to hear that.
Yeah, easy. Thanks, Ray. Yeah, guys, we've run a trading group. It's been over 2 years now. We've got traders across the world, about 500 members in there. We've caught most macro trends all cycle. You can check it out at gtg.education or just follow Greeny Trades on Twitter or Greeny's group on Twitter as well. There's a lot of information there that we give pretty much every day. So yeah, we trade everything from futures to NFTs to airdrops to DeFi to whatever it is. We've got it in there, guys. So it's one of the most supportive educational groups in crypto. We've been doing it a long, long time. So hopefully see some more members join us soon.
Yep. Love it. Love to do it. And then thank you in the crowd for reminding me. I need to do these YEET giveaway spins. We're going to do them really quickly live. We're going to have Greeny countdown. I've got everybody in here from the comments. I'm going to do one quick last sweep on this to make sure I didn't miss anything. All these have been verified so far. We've got wheels. We're going to do two $250 giveaways courtesy of YEET. We're checking the Twitter one more time. I've got 2 more here to add. Then we're going to be good to go. Got free fire on here twice. All right, cool. All right, Greeny, count me down.
All right, 3, 2, 1.
Fred Dog, you'll get in the next one. First winner is Crawlo. Crawlo 250. We'll move you. We're going to add Fred Dog. Fred Dog just shared his username. All right, give me one more countdown here, Greeny.
All right, guys. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's go.
We've got Yuto, a late entry in the Twitter space. Congratulations, Crawlo and Yuto. $250 coming to your YEET accounts, courtesy of YEET. Thank you so much. Check them out. Bodogos.com/YEET to be eligible for future giveaways. Thanks again for listening. Thanks again, Greeny. We do this podcast Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Eastern time. Catch us on all major podcasting platforms, Spotify, Apple. You can catch us over on YouTube. See what we're talking about in real time. That'll be it for today. Catch you tomorrow. Have a wonderful Tuesday.